Hi, well, it's Poetry Thursday, and it's a Poetry Thursday during Garbaugust, the month of reading trashy novels devised by Criminally. Details in the box below. So, in a slight change to the normal programme, Roy, will read a poem, and we, Dr. Jennie and I, will talk about it a bit afterwards, which is what we always do. So if you feel you're being cheated out of your Dr. Jennie, don't worry, she'll be coming along. Yeah, she's there.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so this poem is by Mark Laba. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing the name properly. From a collection called The Inflatable Life, from Anvil Press, that came out in 2019. And the poem is called Killmaster-Arms of Vengeance. 1. Clawing at the edge of the futon like an open-mouthed plutonium bomb, pumping dust and dirt spurt from girded loins, while the brunette raised the blowgun, aiming at the bloody and backward spiritual rebirth, egg-shaped and cradling a small blindfolded dog. The arms of vengeance are rarely mollified, whether it be over breakfast or under the long stares of bookkeepers, and you can take the bit between the teeth or a bullet in the loose language of memory. But the topper is a patched-up apology in a secret embassy with a bunch of sagging assassins undoing their bolo ties and relinquishing their disguises in order to return to a furnished room where the rent is never due. 2. Ambushed by wildflowers amongst the American industrial imagination, a feeble ripple that showed off the athletic muscles and full breasts of Soviet stubbornness, slick with headache lint and after-dinner activities, a gigantic ramshackle ant's nest, now a training camp for alien ambition and grimaces on the forest's belly. Hidden equipment yawned with fatigue, tired of the fierce eyes and foul cigars chomping at antiquated honcho smocks. The Killmaster hissed toilet steam, slipping into the limping ruins of Paraguay's trapdoor, lizard-skinned and tougher than a six-armed error, wearing a powder blue tuxedo and throwing mammoth rubble into the nuclear reactor. 3. The half-starved streets of history jabbered about sidewalks and taxis and invisible gleaming shrubbery, the stink of bloody verandas strangling the sword of God, like lush vegetation around the sickening echo of tactical weaponry, in relation to overstuffed furniture, showered with blood from a bum-footed Mexican standoff gone wrong. 4. The booby-trapped butler walked into the oligarch's ambush monkey-suited and curated by inter-office snobbery. Vague shapes unlatched themselves from radioactive glory, with no stinging carnage, the shock sudden, but the destruction as lacquered as the peeled-off socks of double-crossing and dirty joke-telling downhill bicycle throngs, their knells of doom swelling like pants gas as they infiltrated the breeder reactor room behind the local pub. 5. With one gulp of wooden animal hair, oak turning into pines, turning into patio groins, beeping at the consoles of nervous neighbours, and uneasy agents flooding through the corridors, love and violence close behind, vengeance is mine. Or it could have been if I hadn't been hallucinating about Hitler's hips swaying onto the 21st century, while an antiquated population took to hand-sewing manuscripts, and the hot cobblestones reeked of defecation and spent AK-47 casings, not to mention confused poultry, tapping out tunes with their beaks, that could make sailors weep, should they ever reach shore. Okay, so as the cordite clears from the atmosphere,
Blimey.
It's quite a thing, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Killmaster, Arms of Vengeance.
Yeah, men's adventure is a closed book to me, literally and figuratively.
Okay, so we're talking paperback thrillers with high body counts, I suppose, and
Right.
probably a bit of sex thrown in as well. So I came across Mark Laba when I was looking to see is there such a thing as poems about men's adventure stuff, and apparently he did a chapbook in the 80s called the Mack Bolan poems. Now Mack Bolan,
Yeah.
aka the Executioner,
Yeah.
he's like the platonic ideal of men's adventure. A huge long series of hundreds and hundreds of books about a guy who his family are killed by the mafia, so he shoots the mafia.
Right.
And that extends to shooting everybody else.
Anybody you can
Criminals and enemies of
gets in
America
his
in general.
way.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
that sort of thing. This what? No, I can never find that chapbook, but in this much more recent collection, this Killmaster-Arms of Vengeance is a real book. It's number 255 in the Nick Carter series.
God.
So these are
So is Nick Carter Killmaster?
yes, it's his
The
sort of.
Killmaster?
I think he's well.
Or
It's
just-
usually like Nick Carter, a Killmaster
Oh, it's a...
thriller, so it's a sort of code name, I
Right,
suppose.
right. Or a job description.
It is. I don't. Yeah, they probably
Job
don't
title.
actually put it on his business card, but then these are a bit more spy-y, so he has a bit more legitimacy than Mack Bolan, I
Right,
suppose.
right.
But without getting too much, I mean, obviously it has to work as a poem for people for whom
Who know?
Killmaster
Yeah.
is just a word.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think
yeah.
it sort of does.
Oh, yeah, so I guess my second question, even though the first question wasn't a question, it was just me saying thing. But, yeah, it sounds like what they call a cut-up, where you take bits from an already existing text and put them together to make something else.
Yeah.
I read a cut-up on here that I'd culled from a product description on Amazon about a pencil sharpener, I think. But yeah, this clawing at the edge of the futon like an open-mouthed plutonium bomb, pumping dust and dirt spurt from girded loins. It's got great drive, the whole thing.
And you could imagine
And
two
you can imagine
or
all
three
of
different
those.
bits of perhaps of that book or of a bunch of Nick Carter books.
Yeah, bullet in the loose language of memory is
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I wouldn't, if it turns out that it was 100% cut up or zero cut up or somewhere in between, none of those positions would surprise me.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I think you could just look at a bunch of Nick Carter covers, and you could draw some of this sort of imagery from them, really.
Yeah, I mean, for me, listening to it, because I haven't actually sat and read it all, I've only listened to you read it, I was getting masses of, like, slightly surrealist album cover imagery in my head. The sort of stuff that Hypnosis
Oh, right,
albums would have looked like. But yeah, it's kind of dark backgrounds with weird things on them. But yeah. But it's got some fabulous images in it. Feeble ripple that showed off the athletic muscle and full breasts of Soviet stubbornness. It makes sense, even though
without
obviously
making
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And the giant ramshackle ant's nest now a training camp for alien ambition. It's powder blue tuxedo.
Well, I should
That's a very
say
70s thing.
these books were 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
and 80s, and yes, if anyone, the hero of the books would be sporting a powder blue tuxedo,
Yeah.
would be entirely possible.
Right. Lamentable though we would think it these days.
Yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
not
yeah.
now. Maybe powder blue tuxedos are back. Who can say?
There's layers of irony in that,
Oh, hell yeah.
but yeah. So, or certainly one of the baddies could also be a powder blue tuxedo man.
Throwing
Who
mammoth rubble.
knows? Yeah, yeah.
Now, is that big rubble or is that actual mammoths? The rubble of mammoths.
I kind of want to read the actual book now. Now, I did buy a box full of these, and there's a whole video about that.
Yeah, there is, I remember. Were they the ones with lots of women with guns and glittery bodysuits?
Yeah, because the British editions have photo covers.
Yeah.
Where they would actually take some catalogue model guy and make him wear a
Powder blue
tuxedo and wave a gun about.
Shame for shame.
Accompanied by a lady en déshabillé.
Déshabillé. Yeah. No, I wouldn't have thought when you first showed it to me that I would have enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm not sure I would have read it. I think it really needs to be read aloud. I think quite a lot of poetry really needs to be read aloud.
Well, yeah.
But this particularly, because it's a bit on the page, it's quite a punch in the eye. If you see what I mean. For me, anyway. For me, who used to trying to make the poetry that I read aloud make sense for people. Something like this is quite hard.
Yeah. Well, I think if you read as a reader, this might sound a bit pompous now, but as a reader, one has to. It wasn't actually that easy to read because a lot of it is this long screed of words tumbling out, so it's quite exhausting. Like Nick Carter on a mission. But
without the blonde in the sparkly bodysuit holding a gun in your near vicinity.
True, although
I could be wearing a sparkly
never seen
bodysuit.
it. Who will know? Yeah, because you turned the camera off for this bit.
I tell you what, I also thought it reminded me of a lot, although it's completely. The subject matter is completely different. Those two beat poets you introduced me to, Anne Waldman and Diane de Prima. But yeah, hugely enjoyable. Loved it.
I think somebody on the back cover calls him like the Pope of Bathos or something.
Oh, that's excellent.
He's the Crown Prince, nay, the Poet Laureate of his own brand. Call it Labathos. Sudden gear-clashing shifts from the sublime to the ridiculous and back again. So I think we get some of that.
Probably fair, yeah.
And the complete ending with the confused poultry tapping out tunes on their beaks. I mean, that's nice. It
That's lovely.
It quietens things down a bit because you have
yeah.
this frenetic, action-packed thing.
And that sort of makes a call back to William Carlos Williams' Red Tractor, because that's got white chickens pecking in the yard, and he's dictum.
Well, it's good to have those appearing amidst the
no ideas
bullets
but in
flying.
things. Which is definitely that. That's no ideas but in things.
I think there are things.
It's very thingy.
I mean, what it isn't is a glib piss take of pulp literature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't get a sense of the poet's stance on the source material. You don't think, here's a guy who, hates, loves, or is disgusted by, or anything of the Killmaster book. It's kind of taken that and turned it into something. So at the back it says, if you enjoyed this fine Mark Laba book, don't miss Parasitic Activity in Sheep of the Lesser Andes. Lesser Andes.
Lesser Andes.
Parasitic activity in sheep of the Lesser Andes, including Reagan's shawarma surgery, slowpoke bandage rumours, Death from violent lumber mill druids, no fan of fluffy coconuts. So we're all looking
Cool, yeah.
we're all looking forward to that
Absolutely.
made-up book coming out
Yeah.
in reality. I just don't know. That could actually be a real advert.
Could be a
or it
real
could
advert
be,
for a real book. Or
one last poem. Okay, so The Inflatable Life, featuring
Yeah.
Killmaster. That's our men's adventure poem for the week.
It's great.
Back soon with something else. Back to more normal things of Jennie reading.
No, I don't do
me
normal.
talking. Well, you don't do normal things, do you? No?
I try not to do normal things.
There is no stability in the world of poetry.
Okay, bye everybody. Mind how you go.
I'm going to say goodbye in a men's adventure voice.
Go on then.
Just chomp on a cigar.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Groff.